Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. It really helps us bring you more amazing stories like this one. Ethan Parker wiped the sweat off his brow as the lunch rush at Benny's Diner finally slowed down. His apron was stained, his hands sore from carrying endless plates, and his back ached from hours of running between tables. At just 24, he felt twice his age. Table 6 is waiting on their coffee, Ethan. His manager barked, tossing him a glare. Ethan muttered an apology and hurried to fill the cups. But inside, he was miles away. Every time he heard the clatter of dishes, he imagined it wasn't the sound of forks and knives, but the roar of a crowd applauding. Every time he passed the jukebox by the counter, he pictured himself on stage, microphone in hand, his voice carrying through speakers instead of drowned out by clinking glasses. You see, Ethan wasn't just a waiter. He was a singer, a dreamer. And though life had knocked him down hard, he hadn't let that dream die. When his shift ended, he dragged his tired body out into the cool night air of downtown. Waiting for him on the curb was Lily Thompson, a worn sketchbook balanced on her lap as she doodled under the streetlight. She looked up, her soft smile a comfort Ethan clung to. "Tough shift?" she asked. "The usual," he said, collapsing beside her. "I swear if one more person yells about cold fries, I might lose it." Lily chuckled. "One day, you'll trade those fries for a spotlight. I can see it. You were born to be up there, Ethan." He shook his head, rubbing his hands together. "Dreams don't pay rent, Lil. Not in this city. I can't even afford new shoes, and you want me to chase a stage?" But Lily's eyes lit up with quiet conviction. She turned the sketchbook around. On the page, she had drawn him standing on a stage, bathed in light, a guitar slung over his shoulder, and a crowd reaching out to him. "This is you," she whispered. "Not a waiter. Not someone stuck in a diner forever. This is who you are. You just have to believe it again." Ethan stared at the drawing, something stirring in his chest that he thought had burned out years ago. A flicker, a spark. That night, instead of going home, he and Lily walked past an old bar where a hand-painted sign outside read, "Open mic night. All welcome." Ethan froze. His heart pounded. His throat went dry. "Don't even think about walking away," Lily said, her hand firm on his arm. "This is it. This is where it starts." He looked at her, then at the sign, then back at her again. His whole body trembled. But for the first time in years, Ethan Parker, the tired waiter, the buried dreamer, took a deep breath and stepped inside. To be continued. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss the next part of Ethan's story. It only gets better from here. Ethan's heart thudded like a drum as he stepped into the dimly lit bar. The smell of spilled beer mixed with cigarette smoke, the chatter of nervous performers and eager spectators filling every corner. He felt completely out of place, an imposter in his own dream. "Relax," Lily whispered beside him. "You belong here, remember?" He nodded, though his stomach twisted. The stage looked tiny, almost mocking in its simplicity, with a single microphone and a lonely stool. Around him, performers strummed guitars, beatboxed, and recited poetry. The crowd clapped politely, yet Ethan felt their eyes would pierce him apart if he faltered. When the MC called his name, Ethan froze. Lily squeezed his hand. "You can do this. Just sing like you're in your room, alone, where it all began." He swallowed hard, walked to the stage, and gripped the microphone. For a moment, he heard nothing but the rush of his own blood. Then he began. The first notes trembled, his voice barely carrying above the hum of the bar. A cough echoed somewhere in the back. Ethan's fingers dug into the mic, forcing himself to breathe, to let the song flow. Slowly, the melody found him. He closed his eyes, imagining the sketch Lily had drawn months ago. The spotlight, the crowd, the energy, and something inside ignited. By the second verse, people were leaning in, drawn to the raw honesty in his voice. He sang not just the notes, but every hardship, every exhaustion, every day spent wiping tables and fighting to keep his dream alive. The song wasn't perfect, but it was real. When he finished, the silence was immediate, heavy. Ethan opened his eyes and scanned the crowd. Then came the claps, tentative at first, then louder, growing into a roar of applause that shook the small room. Lily was beaming, tears glimmering. "You did it," she whispered as he stepped down, his legs weak, but his spirits soaring. Back outside, the night air was crisp. Ethan's hand shook, and Lily held his arm. "You were amazing," she said. "Do you feel it? That spark you thought was gone? It's still there, Ethan. Stronger than ever." He nodded, the weight of doubt lifting slightly, though a lingering shadow remained. Fame, recognition, it was just a first step. How would he follow it? Where would he go from here? Over the next weeks, Ethan returned to the bar every open mic night. Each performance honed his voice, built his confidence, and slowly drew a small following. But the real challenge came when the city's local music producer, Maxwell Grant, attended one night. Maxwell was known for discovering talent, but only if it could sell. "Parker," Maxwell said after Ethan's set, his sharp eyes assessing him like a jeweler inspecting a diamond. "You've got something raw, but raw doesn't sell itself. You're either going to work for it, or this stays as a dream of yours." Ethan's stomach nodded. I'm ready," he stammered. "You have the grit, but grit alone won't carry you. You need exposure, networking, and a plan." Maxwell continued, scribbling notes. "I can help, but it won't be easy." Walking home, Ethan felt the weight of responsibility settle on him. Dreams were wonderful, but reality was unforgiving. Lily stayed close, silently offering encouragement as they walked under the city lights. "You're going to make it," she said finally. "Even if the world doubts you, I don't. And you can't doubt yourself." Ethan nodded. Her faith, unwavering, was more powerful than any applause, any compliment. He realized that success wasn't just about talent. It was about resilience, persistence, and the people who believed in him when he couldn't. That night, in his tiny apartment filled with scattered notebooks and old guitar strings, Ethan stared at his reflection in the window. The man looking back at him seemed both exhausted and alive. He was no longer just a waiter with a song in his heart. He was a performer, a dreamer stepping into the unknown, and the journey had only just begun. The days following Maxwell Grant's offer were a whirlwind. Ethan's small apartment became a war room of creativity, strategy, and sheer chaos. Sheet music and lyric notebooks covered every surface, the walls adorned with sticky notes listing performance schedules, local radio contacts, and social media posts. The tiny room, once his sanctuary, now felt like a launch pad for destiny. Lily had moved in with him temporarily, bringing with her energy, organization, and an unyielding belief that kept Ethan grounded. "You've got talent," she said one evening as she organized his notes. "But talent without discipline is just noise. Let's make your music heard." Ethan nodded, exhaustion painted on his face. His fingers still bore small cuts from hours of practice, strumming and singing until his throat raw. He hadn't seen his old life in weeks. No tables to clean, no orders to serve. But he knew he was finally living the life he'd imagined, the life he'd dreamed of in quiet moments when everyone else doubted him. Maxwell scheduled their first studio session in the city's most prestigious recording space. As Ethan walked into the glass-fronted building, nerves gripped him like iron chains. The hum of computers, the glossy sheen of polished instruments, the sight of engineers adjusting soundboards, it all threatened to overwhelm him. But Lily's hand found his. "You've got this," she whispered. "Remember the first time you sang at that bar? You had fire then, and it's still there." The session began tentatively. Ethan sang, played, improvised. Maxwell's sharp eyes missed nothing, noting strengths, weaknesses, even the smallest inflection of his voice. Hours melted together, punctuated by technical adjustments and caffeine-fueled debates over song arrangements. Finally, Maxwell leaned back, folding his hands. "Ethan, this is it. You're ready. But there's one test." Live performance on the city's biggest stage. One shot, one audience that could make or break you. Ethan's stomach dropped. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of pressure, he admitted. You'll never know until you try, Maxwell said. I see a star here. Don't waste it. Lily squeezed his hand again, unwavering. We've made it this far. You're stronger than you think. Weeks later, the big night arrived. The city's main theater glimmered under a sea of lights, packed with hundreds of eager spectators. Journalists and bloggers lined the aisles, ready to capture a new rising talent. Ethan stood backstage, the weight of the moment threatening to crush him. Lily adjusted his collar, smiling. Remember, sing for yourself. Sing for the people who believed in you. Sing for everyone who's ever been told they couldn't. That's your power. He stepped out onto the stage, the lights blinding, the crowd roaring. His heart pounded in his ears. But then, he closed his eyes, remembering every rejection, every struggle, every day Lily had believed in him. And he sang. The first note was shaky, almost fragile, but then it strengthened. Each verse, each chorus, each bridge became a story of survival, of hope, of determination. The audience was silent, hanging on every word, their collective breath suspended. When he reached the final refrain, every voice in the theater joined in, a wave of connection, an eruption of emotion. Tears streamed down Lily's face as she clutched his hand from the front row. Ethan felt a surge of exhilaration, joy, and relief unlike anything before. This wasn't just a performance. It was the culmination of years of sacrifice, doubt, and relentless persistence. After the show, Maxwell approached, smiling broadly. Ethan, that was beyond what I imagined. You've got the voice, the presence, and the story people will remember forever. Ethan's mind raced. Offers for collaborations, tours, and sponsorships flooded in. But he knew the real victory wasn't in the fame. It was in proving, first to himself and then to the world, that dreams could be realized even in the darkest moments. Yet, even as success blossomed, challenges arose. Competitors questioned his rise, social media rumors spread, and pressures mounted. There were nights Ethan lay awake, haunted by the fear of failure. But Lily was always there, her unwavering faith a steady beacon. You've faced worse than this, she reminded him, and you came out stronger every time. Months passed. Ethan's music reached international audiences, and he started mentoring struggling young musicians, offering them a hand when life seemed unfair. The food he once prepared at the cafe was replaced by melodies, and his small apartment was now a studio bustling with collaboration and creativity. One evening, as Ethan and Lily walked through the quiet city streets after another sold-out show, they paused beneath the glow of a street lamp. Ethan pulled her close. None of this would have been possible without you, he said. You believed in me when I couldn't. You saved me. Lily smiled softly, brushing a stray strand of hair from his forehead. We saved each other, and your story is just beginning. Imagine how many lives you'll touch with your music. Ethan looked at her, the city around them alive with possibilities. He realized that while fame, recognition, and success were exhilarating, the real treasure was the journey. The hardships, the friendships, the love, and the unwavering courage to rise again after every fall. And as they walked into the night, the city buzzing with life and opportunity, Ethan Parker knew that no matter what challenges awaited, he would face them head on, because he had discovered something stronger than talent or luck. He had discovered resilience, purpose, and a life worth every note he ever sang. Thank you for watching Ethan's journey unfold. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It's only just the beginning of more amazing stories coming your way.